sure.
I wanted to know what inspired you to become an actress.
Probably because I'm just as silly and theatrical off the stage as I am on stage. I've always loved to act since I was a kid. I think it started with the singing, and it blossomed into other things, doing church things, and then, different plays at school. They're like, oh, she can sing? Okay, well, let's see if she can act. And then they said, oh, well, she can act too. Okay. And she moves well. All right, well, maybe this is something we need to tap into. And so my mom always just put me in things and fostered those gifts.
So did you have a aha moment, or did someone encourage you?
I can't say I had an aha moment. I can say that I always remember being in the limelight, if you will. Let my mama tell her I came out singing. So
came out cooing.
Yeah, the doctor said it's a girl. So yeah, pretty much.
Did you have friends who were in acting, or?
Actually, no. I now do. Now that I'm grown, in my core group, I have another friend that decided that acting and modeling was something she wanted to pursue as a grown-up.
Okay.
But as we were coming up, I think I was the only one that was really artsy, just extremely artsy. They were in education and psychology and forensic science. I do have a forensic scientist as one of my core girlfriends.
Okay.
Yeah, but all through high school, I aspired to do exactly what I do, and I went to Howard University and majored in music theater.
How was your experience at Howard University? I hear a lot of great things about it. I went to Jackson State.
Okay.
So I have a cousin who graduated from there about 5 years ago, and talks about
Lord.
Howard.
H-U. That's right. That's right. I wouldn't have traded the experience for the world. Yeah, it's nothing better than, in my opinion, to be amongst your peers that are of the same ethnicity, getting enriched. It was such a fulfilling time in my life. My professor, Mike Malone, became like my mentor, and he plays an integral part in why I do what I do. Because I did have a moment in my life where I said, I'm done with theater. Yeah, and he said to me, the theater community will be very, very sad without you. You'll be sorely missed, is what he told me. And this was like right after I graduated from college. And of course, I had my gigs lined up thanks to him, because it's about connections and who you know a lot of times, plus your reputation and your talent, And he had spoken highly of me, and 2-3 days after graduation, I was already on my my second professional gig. My first one was at the Kennedy Center with him, doing a show called Black Nativity. And but I was lined up for the rest of the year. But somewhere, maybe 6 months down the line, I had a spiritual experience, and I kind of shifted away from theater. And I didn't pick it up again until maybe 4 or 5 years later.
Really?
Yeah.
So, if you didn't pick it back up, what would you have been doing? Like, what career?
Teaching.
Really?
Yep, I was a teacher.
Of course, you're talking to a former teacher.
Yeah, I was teaching at a Christian academy in Baltimore, and I said I put it down. I didn't put it down completely because with the background that I had, I still used it. So I was heavily in church, so I'm at church like 6 days a week. I'm on all these different auxiliaries, and I had a dance group that I participated in, but I also ran. So I had the kids singing and dancing, and and then my pastor asked me to do something for Outreach Day. I wrote a full play, put it on. I know that the show is going to be absolutely insane.
Yes, I cannot wait
Insane.
to attend.
Yeah.
I'm like a kid waiting on Christmas. Like counting down, Xing out the days.
Yes, ma'am.
Waiting on the play.
Indeed.
Like, I'm super excited.
No, good.
I'm so excited.
You very well should be. Yes, ma'am.
What motivates you? I mean, I know you all do rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
They're long days.
Mm-hmm.
But what motivates you to give it your all in a rehearsal?
I think it's what you know is coming. Like, that audience is going to just be so alive, so encouraged, so enlightened. You come to the theater and you just leave it all right there. You say, hey, whatever I dealt with earlier today, I'm done with it. For this 2.5 hours or however long you're in the theater, you drop all that and you just soak it all up as an audience member. And that's what we as artists, we look forward to, that response, that joy, that piece of solace that we give to the audience.
Right, because my mother was trying to come on the car ride today. I'm like, you can't. You have to wait.
Yes.
You have to wait until the play.
Exactly.
I just want to see what they doing.
Oh, yeah.
Not yet.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Who would you say, I think you have a lot of actors and actresses coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
They get very popular through reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody you would like to help shape and mold, if you could?
That's a rough one because I don't really watch TV.
Or just anyone. Is there anyone that you see, or, a young adult, or someone you think has a little talent, or somebody working behind the scenes and you're like, they really should be on stage. They should not be behind the camera.
Well, I can't speak to anyone that I've seen per se, but of course for me as an artist, I always want to pass the torch, to those younger than me. I work in schools a lot in different arts programs, and the kids, when you can get them tuned in, it's always an awesome thing, So I would say, my students per se, yeah, I really want to just grab them up so that they can stay focused and stay out of things that really do not become them. But as far as an artist per se, you stumped me, girl. You stumped me on that one. Got me good. No, I cannot say that there's anyone that I know of. Like I said, I barely watch television.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit about the role in Crowns that you're playing? I know the character name is Jeanette.
Mm-hmm. Jeanette is...
Tell me about Jeanette.
One of the church ladies, and much like myself, she's pretty sassy, She has this passion for God, but she's very aware at how she was created. The Bible says that we were fearfully and wonderfully made, and she believes exactly that. I think she is somewhere in the middle, age-wise. You have Mother Shaw and Miss Mabel and Wanda, and then there's me, Velma, and then Yolanda, the granddaughter of Mother Shaw. So I'm kind of somewhere stuck in the middle, and not stuffy, but aware of my cuteness, But I love the Lord, And
but she's still sassy.
It's still sassy.
Okay.
Can't take that out of her.
So what is the message to you from Crowns? What do you take away with that?
What do I take away from Crowns? Because of the transition that Yolanda makes from grieving of her brother to absolutely abhorring being sent down to her grandmother in the South, and then seeing herself with new eyes, back home to Chicago, I believe it would just be to know who you are. Find out who you are. You know, sometimes we have to go back to basics. You know, and then it's okay to attach yourself to those who are rooted and grounded in some kind of foundation. You know, a lot of times we have such a disconnect from people. It's our little sect. That's it.
Right.
You know, and then that's your sect, and so on and so forth. But there is such a through line of being connected, one, to the spirit, to our ancestors, and then to those that are around us in our, you know, in our everyday lives, in our paths. You know, why did my path contain this person? Why did they come on my path? You know, and a lot of times we don't embrace that. And this story is one where we have to learn how to embrace the people that come in our path, you know, and gain knowledge from them, you know, find that solace, find that peace, find that joy, find that tidbit of whatever it is that person was put there for, to be in your path at that given time.
That's good. That's good. I had an experience as a teacher. I had fifth graders at the time, and you know, we were doing a poem, and I had them clapping to the beat, and I had the boys saying one line, and the girls saying another stanza. And administration walked in and said, "You're not teaching. No, you go back to teaching. Stop this now." I said, "Whoa."
Right, as a trust.
I thought I was doing my thing.
And you probably were.
So what would you say to, I guess, if you could speak to the people in power in education?
Yeah.
Because it's clearly not teachers.
Yeah.
To get them to understand that theater is more than...
It is a teaching tool.
Right. What would your advice be to an administrator to allow that in the school system?
I would say allow a teacher to put their lesson plans in musical theater context for a span of time and see how the children progress. Because these children pick up on music so quickly, more than they do us lecturing to them.
Right.
You know, they get bored so easily. But when you have movement that goes along with a certain dialogue or a line, they pick it up right away. So I dare administration to allow a teacher for a course to just, hey, set their lesson plans to music and movement and see how awesome the outcome is.
And what would you say to, because I was inspired to do something with my class because I had walked them to music one day and I stood on the outside and peered in on...
They were focused, weren't they?
No, this was in their music class, and it was a person of another color.
Oh.
And they were sitting with their music stands and not really doing anything. So what would you say to the music teacher that has the power to create music, to create inspiration, but isn't using that to their advantage with the students?
You know what?
And not one instrument.
Not one instrument in the room. So is this a music class or a choir?
Music class.
Music class and no instruments.
Not even a flute.
I would say,
not even a
here's
recorder.
Your pink slip. You no longer have a job. That's unacceptable. How do you gain your wealth off the backs of these children that you're teaching absolutely nothing to? Unacceptable. Now, there is that, because, I mean, like I said, I do come from some form of teaching background, and then I substitute taught here in Chicago. And you do see the teachers that have done this. They've washed their hands. You know, they don't want to work that hard. Yeah. Well, guess what? It takes that plus some teacher. And you have to bend over backwards with these kids because they're combating so many different things in their own personal homes. They're dealing with so many different issues, and you have to be an outlet. You have to be that. You know, you have to take the time and put the energy forth to snatch back a generation. A lost, in my opinion, a lot of these children are just lost and just unfocused, undriven. And you have to go the extra mile to snatch them back and put them right on course.
Is there an actress or actor that you would like to work with in the future?
There's so many.
Like, top 3.
We'd be here all night talking about who I want to work with.
Who's your top 3 or 4?
Oh gosh. Felicia Rashad.
Okay.
Ain't you? That's the alma mater thing.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh
we can get some Jackson State people in here.
Yes. Ironically, I mean, and this is so funny because, you know, it's always that 6 degrees of separation. Felicia's here directing.
Right. She's in the building. Right.
Yeah. And then Pauletta Washington, is connected to Denzel, and Denzel, of course.
Of course. I would like to be an extra.
Yeah.
I can't even act.
Oh, my gosh. Just brilliant. Brilliant. Robert De Niro. It's one of my all-time favorites. I absolutely adore him as an actor, and just I'm always stunned and in awe of what he brings to the screen.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yes, ma'am.
One more question? What's your viewpoint on reality stars who they get their shows and then you see them in a movie the next day, or they have like a major role?
You know what? I say to each his own. Get your money. And I feel like there probably are people like myself who are real actors.
Exactly.
That go on these reality shows because they're trying to get their break. I mean, of course, there are those that are not. But, to each his own. Everybody has their course to run, and I'm just trying to run mine. Stay in my lane. And that's it.
I understand. How do you prepare for your roles? Okay, this is the last question.
Okay. I find out, where is it set? What's the time frame? Who am I?
So do you do the research for that?
Oh, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. There are, in most cases, dramaturge people that prepare a packet, something for me to read. So, of course, that's always handy. But, yeah, I have to find out who this person is for myself. And if the script does not necessarily give me all the bits and pieces, I have to create it.
Okay.
So a lot of times that's what I do. If it's not spelled out for me in the script, I just figure it out based off of what's happening during that time. What is the economical situation? What's social, situation? What is going on? And I just base it off of that. And then, the dialogue gives you the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to yourself 10 years ago?
10 years ago. What was I doing 10 years ago? Oh, what would I give myself? That's a good one. I would have told myself, go back to your passion, because that was a time frame where I was not acting or singing or dancing. because this is my true calling. This is my gifting.
Right.
So I want to pursue your passion.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to your first love.